right now, we're on our way to interview this. She owns a restaurant here in Belize. This is a very, very powerful, very, very respectable woman. She started from nothing and she struggled till she got to a point where everybody frequents her restaurant. This, again, is how hard and how intelligent the Belizean people are. Let me get ready to she's getting ready to share with us her story. So let's begin. Julia, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. Sit down beside you if I could and talk with you a little bit. Thank you so much. And I guess we get right to it. We had some of that delicious food. And I got it. The rice and the soup with the coconut spice with the I think it was lobster, I think it was fish, red snapper crabs.
So that is known as the hudut. If you got the fish cooked in the coconut milk, we refer to it as the hudut. If it was a combo, then there is lobster there as well. So our food here in Belize is known as ital food because of the richness and the flavor of the coconut milk. So far, this is the only restaurant that is serving the ital food on the island. The first and the second page of our menu is strictly Garifuna dishes, traditional and authentic. We do other cuisines as well. So that hudut is our seller here at the Black and White Garifuna restaurant. 90% to 95%, that's our seller for this business.
Wow, that's very tasty. How long have your establishment been open, Miss Julia?
Well, we have been open for, I would say, 27 years as a bar. It was a bar first. And I wasn't really quite satisfied with the bar part of it. And I said, one day I'm going to turn it to what I really want, which is a Garifuna restaurant and cultural center. So before COVID, we were operating. It was a bit difficult, but COVID just brings prosperity to us. We opened up, we built, we get exposed, people get to learn about us, people come to support us, and today we are where we are, super busy. This is Belizean. This is a Belizean restaurant, and this is what most visitors want to see: something local, something traditional, something that is the real deal, and this is the place for the real deal.
Clearly. I noticed that your food is also reflective of some of the crops that perhaps the Garifuna used to, get out there in the field and plant. Could you give us a little background on the Garifuna, Mr. Junior?
Of course, well, the Garifuna people are known to be farmers and fishermen, so our food is based on the farming part of it and the fishing part of it. So for us not to have seafood in our kitchen, then it's not a Garifuna restaurant. We must have seafood because of our lifestyle. And of course, farming plays a very important role because these plantains, the bananas, the cocoa, the sweet potatoes, the yam, all these are from the farm. And our food is always fresh from the sea to the pot, from the farm to the pot. So this is the reason why we have all these ingredients in our cooking.
Because it seems like you put a lot of love in your food. I mean, when we sitting here tasting it, I have to admit I've never tried anything quite as tasty as that. I truthfully, I'm not a big fan of coconut,
Okay.
but I could drink that soup, the broth
Okay.
of it anyway, every single day. That's how impressed I was. So it could only be because of love that you poured into it. And I want you to know that was very noticeable in the dish tonight.
Most definitely. So back in the years when I started the restaurant, it was by myself in the kitchen. And then my husband joined me, and then years goes by, got one person, second person, and stuff like that. So at this time, I am trying my best to retire out of the kitchen, but it's pretty difficult. And of course, we have. I usually try to help others with blessings, so they would ask for a job, and I would always ask, "Are you willing to learn my way?" Because definitely you can cook a rice and beans, but what flavor will you give me of a rice and beans? Probably you can cook a hotdog, but what flavor? I look for flavor, for taste, for quality. That's what we serve here. Flavor, taste, quality, authentic, the real deal. So yes, when they come, you learn it my way with that special ingredients. There are certain ingredients, certain recipes that I look at, and this is what I want, this is what I want, and this is what I want. And if I'm not satisfied, bro, in the kitchen, I go back and I tell them I don't satisfy, I want it this way. So that's how we are at a level when it comes to the taste of our food.
I, one of the things that impressed us most, and especially Fritz when playing drum, is that you have some authenticity that I've never experienced in a restaurant, and that is you have music with the premiere and the Sangunda, yes ma'am. I've never, and I wasn't even familiar with these instruments, certainly the name of them, as much as I am at this time, because, you know, the first time that I've seen anything like this was on television from African various tribes, and when I came here, this gave me an opportunity to witness it up close. And everyone that was, all of the musicians that was here tonight that played for you, it was unison. Everybody moved as one, and that caught my attention. And this is before we even enjoyed this delicious meal. I was already beginning to get filled up from the ambiance. And I have to admit, you're onto something. I eat almost, and I know that probably more than I should. I eat at a lot of restaurants. This is what we do. We go around and experience different. I've never seen the type of environment that you provide. It's warm. As soon I walked through the door, I just was engulfed with a spirit of warmth. And I can't help but notice that when I first met you, you're very, very humble, you're very, very intelligent, but more importantly, you're very, very keen, very sharp, and that resonated with us. And I want you to know that you're special, and it's reflective in everything that you displayed tonight. How did that come about? What made you, Miss Julia, decide to insert this type of entertainment?
Okay, so before this, I was a primary school teacher. So I've been living on the island for about 31 years now. When I came as the same person who I am today, as a Garifuna woman, always promoting, preserving the Garifuna culture. At this time, this culture, the Garifuna culture, is the number one in Belize when it comes to tourism, promoting the food, the clothing, the tradition, the spirituality. I mean, everything that circles this culture is dynamic. We are so special in Belize that the government of this country gave us what we call Garifuna Settlement Day. It's a public and bank holiday in this country. This culture is the number one when it comes to music. The primero, the segundo. As soon as you see these drums, oh, typical. These are Garifuna drums. These are the drums of Belize. These drums are authentic, they are real. These drums connect to our ancestors. This is a passion for me. I love what I do. I came from southern Belize to settle here on the island of San Pedro because of what I see far ahead of me, wanting to promote my culture. Today I am surviving with my family off of what I do, just promoting the culture. This goes to our schools, to our educational institution. When it comes to anything that is called Garifuna, On the island, Julia Martinez is what people come for. The students, the teachers, the visitors, they come to ask for Miss Julia. They need clothing for a cultural day at school, go to Miss Julia. They need the food, oh, she knows what the food is. They need whatever they need. The month of November is a month that is tense for me, my family, and all those who comes around because they come to me for service, and I make sure that I give that service to the best of my ability. I am never enough for myself. I mean, it started off very rough because nothing comes easily. I had some hard times before, but what happened is that I tried to put all those negative things behind me, and I saw a vision coming ahead of me, and I worked at it and I moved on, and I keep away, as I said, all negativities, and just keep myself going forward. So doing this is awesome. I am well known for on the island for who I am and what I do. We go to different resorts, different places to perform, to tell, to show, and this is me. Being a Garifuna woman, just working, honest life, honest living. It's a lot of hard work, but when you love something, when you have the passion, it's that for you.
Beautiful, beautiful. I couldn't help but notice that you, and I was going to get around to it. You mentioned it, so this is a great segue to my next question. Frederick Douglass said there's no success without struggle. And so you mentioned that you struggle. And me as a small business operator, I've been through my share of it too. It seems that you have taken on this huge responsibility of carrying the torch forth for the Garania, the Garifuna history and heritage. How do you muster the strength to when you're being challenged, when the Gafuna people are being challenged by the government and pushed away for things that are rightfully theirs? How do you not let bitterness get in the way of you being this model that people can cling to and find hope in? How do you pull that off? It seems heavy as the head that wears the crown.
That's a very good question. For us, for me, for the Garifuna people, we do believe in our ancestors. We believe that our ancestors are always there, guiding and protecting us and showing us the way forward. Be strong. It comes in a dream, it comes in a vision. Go this way. Do this. Keep away from this. And that's what keeps me strong. My family members, I can clearly remember when I had problems opening up my little business as a black woman. It was difficult on this island because I am a black woman. But today, everybody respect this little black woman because they have noticed that I push and what I put forward is just what is needed. So, working with this, it's like you go every day. I just go. I don't really have friends that I sit with and waste time. I'm always guided to do the right things. I would get vision, ideas would come to me. Everything that you see here, it's from this little brain right here. No one come to me and say, oh, you need to do this, I want this design, or let me help you with this. Everything here is my creation. And when I do get that vision, I would either write it down, wait for some time that I have the time to put it together, and then I would pull off. So, that struggle of being there every day, consistent. When I'm here, you can see the vibrant source of Julia Martinez being here. When I'm gone for like 2-3 weeks, it's like dead, like somebody is missing away from here. So I believe that my spirit here is always strong, and the ancestors, they keep me in their eyesight to protect me daily, to guide me daily, because as we all know, there is good and there is bad, and we always want the good side of everything. So I try to be humble. I help a lot of people in different ways, and I feel like that helps me with my blessings. And I'm always a positive person. I keep focused on being positive.
That's beautiful. The beautiful. You spoke of ancestors, and this is good because I think the audience really need to understand just how important this connection is. And let's start with the flag of the black, the white, the yellow for the rising of the sun, the black for the ancestors, and the day of peace for the white. I apologize if I messed it up. Could you explain the colors of the flag and perhaps even the struggle to keep black up top and not white?
So, first of all, I want to say that we are blessed. The Garifuna people are blessed here in the country of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras. And under the Belizean flag comes the Garifuna flag. We are the only ethnic group in this country that has a flag of its own. The Garifuna people are the only people in Belize that has a flag of its own to celebrate, and that's the black, white, and yellow. The black signifies the color of our skin and the bitter struggles we've been through with all our ancestors and all our people as we go along. The white is for peace, and the yellow is for hope. We hope to continue to live not only in Belize but our neighboring countries, Guatemala and Honduras, where our people live today. In the middle of that flag, there is an emblem, a male and a female. The male representing farming. Let me go over that. The male represent fishing. The male goes out to fish. The woman goes to the farm. The male also goes to the farm. But because Garifuna women are always strong, they do not sit and wait. So they go to the farm to plant to make sure that they can feed their family. So this is how the Garifuna flag is all about. And as we go and studies are there, we are improving and giving more information. When you travel to Guatemala and Honduras, you will notice, or if you look at YouTube or you go to internet, you will see that the black is at the bottom for those two countries. But for us in Belize, we stick at the black because we believe that we started from there, from being in darkness, and then we come to light. So definitely when you see a Garifuna flag in Belize, it would be black, white, and yellow.
Wow, that's fascinating right there. I don't want to read more in this than I should, but I couldn't help but when you were saying that both men and the women, both comes to the farm, and the women waste no time and they begin to plant. Would it be safe to say that even though men are probably very, very good fishermen, would it be safe to say, from what I'm hearing here, that the women were the number one producer in terms of calorie for the family?
That's 100%. That's all the time. The wife, the woman, the lady of the home is the backbone of the family, usually in our Garifuna families. Because we want to make sure that our kids are well taken care of. We want to eat. We don't want to sit and wait for hours for food to come to us from a different source. If we have the health, the strength, the mind, the body, and the source to get those food, we make sure we go for it.
This is that warrior spirit that is so common in the Garifuna family. And I want to say warriors in a sense that even Christopher Columbus was afraid to stop and he kept going. He did not plant a flag like they did in so many other lands. And he actually, maybe one of the smartest things he did outside of, giving up and realizing that all his voyages was failures. But when he went around, you was warriors, and then after that, maybe I think the British may have overwhelmed you down the road. From those early struggles, and you've seen how y'all mustered through as a resilient people. What are the problems that's facing you today? I mean, I know you probably made some progress, but what would you like to see happen in terms of expanding the Garifuni's reach beyond Belize, beyond Guatemala, beyond Honduras, that make America take notice?
Some part of America takes notice already. Belizeans are in the US. Garifuna Belizeans are in the US. Guatemalans Garifuna are in the US. Honduranian Garifuna are in the US. But because they are not at home like us here, they cannot do as much as they want to because they are in another country. Here in Belize, it's not a problem with our government to do whatever because we are at home, and this is the culture that brings Belize together. This is the culture that promotes Belize. This is the culture that actually people are interested in. Um, Out there, yes, our brothers and sisters do their festivities. Like the 19th of November, they would get together and do their festivities. But it's like indoors in a building. Here we can take over the streets. We take over the streets. Belize is a highlight spot when it comes to cultural exposure, and that's where people come from all over the world in the month of November to celebrate Garifuna Settlement Day. This culture is from the southern part of Belize. Barranco, Hopkins, Georgetown, St. Vibe, Danbriga. These are all southern Belize. But because of what I saw from years ago, I said I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it for San Pedro, and I'm going to do it for who I am. Today, Black and White Garifuna Restaurant stands as a Garifuna establishment that is well respected here. So for that, I am grateful. What I do though, I do not pull away from my people. I go to my people. Whenever there is an invitation for me to go to my people, I go to my people. Whenever my people ask me for something and I can offer it, I can give it back, I do. For example, there is what we call Garifuna spirituality, where we go into the Garifuna temple for 4 to 5 days to give back to our ancestors, for our ancestors to guide us. It's a healing ceremony for so many days and nights. These drums, they don't sleep. 4 to 5 days. Day drumming, night drumming, offering food to our ancestors. Our ancestors in turn come back to us and tell us, guide us what they want, how to do this and how to do that. And it's a touching feeling because there, when you go there, it's like 3, 4, 500 people that stays on the compound where the temple is, which is known as the Dabuyaba. And there we have the priest, which is the Buye, the leader of that entire ceremony for all those days, healing our brothers and sisters, guiding us and connecting his ancestors with our people, just moving together and work things out for the best health and strength and guidance of us.
That's pretty mighty. It's pretty powerful argument right there. Now, it shouldn't even be an argument. It's a fact. In fact, the ancestors have to be absolutely thrilled with you, thrilled with your determination, thrilled with your commitment. I mean, just listening to you, I got chill bumps, and it's such an honor to sit beside you. I'd like to ask next, how does Catholicism fit into all of this?
Okay, so when you talk about Catholicism, are you talking about the church, the Catholic Church? What are you? Can you specify? Can you explain?
Okay, yeah. Well, let me try to explain. I don't want to say anything
Okay.
and be off. I don't want to give you no bad information. It almost as if, to some degree, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there is a fine line that has to be walked with, two two like, maybe I don't want to say government, but for lack of a better word, whether it was a republic or whether it was a principality, doing all of this time, that perhaps talking with the ancestors, did were there any friction to the point where you had to reach a happy medium and perhaps uh, assimilate a little bit of Catholicism to uh, allow, I don't want to say allow, but to not be so anti Garifuna when connecting, when spiritually enjoying the ancestors and listening to their guidance and listening to their wisdom. Was it ever any time that the Catholic Church uh, felt as though they was losing, um, maybe losing influence with the Garifuna, and maybe felt a bit threatened by the Garifuna?
Well, today, most of our Garifuna people are Catholics. That's number one. Most of them. Many years ago, before I was born, there was an issue when it comes to being Garifuna and being a Catholic. It was like a no-no. But that has gone far beyond gone, because from when I was a little girl, I can clearly remember that we have so many Garifuna priests and bishops that appreciate both Catholic and the Garifuna spirituality. Most of these priests have already passed away. I believe we might only have probably two more living here in Belize, and we're not sure how longer they'll be gone. But those priests, those bishops, they were, yes, Catholic, they were, yes, Garifuna, working with our ancestors, and they just bring it together. At the beginning, as I said, before I was born, there was an issue of not being out there as our ancestors' spirituality wasn't accepted by the Catholic. But today, it's Garifuna people are just Catholic people. And we believe in God, the Almighty. We believe in God. We believe that He is the number one source. And we also believe in our ancestors. The ancestors, it's like bam. It's like a quick answer. That's the way I experience it. And that experience comes to me very so often. For example, if I would ask for something, in due time, it comes to me. So that is where I trust and I believe. Every morning as I would get out of my bed, or before I get out of my bed, I would say, thank you, Jesus, for another day. I appreciate and I love how beautiful the day is. At nighttime, during the day, while I'm working, I focus with my ancestors. Bring me customers, bring me highlights, bring me prosperity, bring me health, bring me whatever I need to keep on, to stand up, to just do what I need to do in my kitchen, in my area out here, dealing with customers. We have different kind of people coming to sell. Some people are positive, some people are negative, some people come with a strong attitude that they must, that they must. And over the years as well, I have learned how to deal with people that will come from far. You can get the vibes sometimes. You can can get the vibes right there and then, if it's a positive vibes or if it's a negative vibe. So we have to learn how to work with people in that form as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for clearing that up. It was a bit nebulous to me a little bit, and I appreciate that. You mentioned earlier tonight that you was a school teacher.
Yes, I was.
How did your ancestors help you be successful in dealing with these kids, and what do you think has been the most important thing that you believe that you poured into it?
When I first came to San Pedro about 31 years ago, I was the only Garifuna teacher on staff.
Mm.
The only Garifuna teacher. We had like 2, 3 black people, but they were not Garifuna, they were from the Creole descent people. And I'm from the Garifuna descent. So the school, the kids, the teachers, they were like, wow, this is what we need on our staff, because it's a part of the school curriculum to teach about the Garifuna culture. Not only about the Garifuna culture, but all the other ethnic groups as well. The mestizos, the Lebanese, the Chinese, and so on. But Garifuna, you must be a Garifuna to bring forth everything that is Garifuna. So when I got here, it was like, yes, we need her. And I played a very important role right there and then. Because as I said before, I came as a Garifuna woman. And today I'm still a Garifuna woman. I came from a very strong background. My mom and my dad and my siblings. I'm the youngest of the 10. And my dad was strict when it comes to being Garifuna at home. My mom was like, you need to do this way. And so when I came to San Pedro, that was like a couple of years after I won what we call the Miss Garifuna Belize pageant. Because every year we have a pageant in this country where you go vie for the title of Miss Garifuna. And I was very successful that year. I won the title of Miss Punta Gorda because I'm from Punta Gorda. So from each Garifuna community, there is one girl that is chosen to represent, to vie for the title. So I did Punta Gorda, and then I went up for the national, which is known as the Miss Garifuna Belize. And that was where my background shines and shows who I am. So when I came to this primary school here on the island, okay, bam. And I was there, I was young, I was strong, I was vibrant, I can do this, I can do that, and I could do this. And my principal was so, she was like into me because yes, this person is here now and we can make much of her. And without no delay, she assigned me to do this program, to do that program. You do this, Mrs. Martinez, the entire month is yours. Plan, yes, we are not in a Garifuna community, but your staff, my staff, will be there to assist. Just guide them and tell them what they need to do, and we move forward. And that entire compound of school children just gets into the vibes. I would take my drums to school. Before the bell rings in the morning, we would do like half an hour session of drumming. When we go for lunch, before we get back into the classroom, maybe we would do 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And after classes, that's where the classrooms get just full up with kids wanting to touch. They would say, Mrs. Martinez, we want to touch the drums. Or they'll say, we want to beat the drum. And they would come in, they would just pour in and just, you know. And so many years I was there. I kept on every year doing this, doing that. And of course, the island started to grow. It just gets crazy. I said, I'm going to start my business. When I first started my business, it was nothing like what you see here. It was like little or nothing at all. I started off like this. I was actually opening up to do a Garifuna museum because I said everything in Garifuna, everything that Garifuna does is hard work. So I said I will look for the easiest part of it. So we opened up in the building with Garifuna utensils, with Garifuna artifacts, and I would have that on display. We would have visitors to come in. So that was not quite enough. So my neighbor across the street came over to see what I was doing. So he said, Mrs. Martinez, you need to do much more than this. He said, your culture is so unique. It is so vibrant. It is so alive. It has a lot to offer. You need to add more. And I was like, wow, yes, that is true. But to move on when there's just a little, how can you move so fast if there's just a little? So I kept on with the Garifuna Museum. We had to start making food because people come, they want to sit and enjoy the Garifuna dishes. And then we add, and then we add, and then we add, and this is where we are today.
And that's beautiful. And speaking of Garifuna cooking class back there, how's that going?
That's going pretty good. But it happens usually during the high season because that's when we have visitors. So visitors will come to eat. They love the taste. It's new to them. They like the ingredients, everything that is there. So they want to learn how to prepare the food. And that's what keeps me going with the cooking class. The cooking class is always a fantastic time because sometimes we have large groups and I would have to split up the area. Maybe I would have one at the front, one in the middle, one in the third place. And we would have 3 stations and I would just keep on going. And there are a lot of good things about the cooking class because sometimes we might know and sometimes we might not know. For us, as Belizeans, there is a certain Garifuna people, there is a certain way of how we clean the fish, how we clean the meat, how we make sure that that meat is ready to be seasoned. We just don't take a chicken and cut it and just throw a little bit of salt on it, black pepper and stuff. No, you gotta know how to clean the chicken. All the sliminess, all the oil, all the germs or bacteria or whatever you need. We here at the Black and White, that is being done to make sure that we have proper cleaning of our seafood or any meat at all before it goes into proper cooking.
Well, I can see that. I can see that you're very meticulous when it comes to it. And again, it comes from passion, being passionate. You mentioned the drums. Tell us a little bit more in terms of the drums in the sense of communicating to the people. Why are these such an important tool in illustrating your commitment and your faithfulness to Garifuna?
As I said before, these drums, number one, they are connected to our ancestors. These drums are respected. You won't see these drums lying all over the place. We take care of our drums. This is something sacred. This is something unique. This is something so important. These drums, it's like a stove in your home, in your kitchen. If you don't have a stove to cook, nothing will come out unless you cook on a fire hydrant. These drums are important. They gives us the sounds, the beat, the rhythm. So we are here with these drums. When we go to the temple, these are not the drums that are being used at the temple. The drums that are used at the temples are huge drums, big drums. And these drums that we have here now, these are party drums, fun drums. We can party, we can do whatever musical stuff that we want with these drums. These drums gives us what we call the hugu beat. It's that rhythm where our people played when they came all the way from St. Vincent in the little canoes early on the 19th of November every year when we do our reenactment meetings as well, and the other countries that I have mentioned. These drums gives us what we call paranda music. Paranda is where we connect to our human being feeling of love, of trust, of hate, of morality. Paranda gives us that time to focus, to meditate on our lifestyle. We sit down, we listen to these songs uh, about healing, about sickness, about death, about love, about families. That's what our Paranda is about. So that's the Paranda beat for one of these drums. Then we go to Punta. Punta is that social dance where the female tries to outdo the male. Everybody loves to do Punta dance. So the Punta is where the male wants to attract the female in dancing and the female wants to attract the male in dancing. But today, because of modern lifestyle, in Belize and around, we have Punta and we have Punta Rock. Punta is traditional. It's the movement of the hip and the butt where the female tries to outdo the male. Nice, beautiful way of dancing. Our musician adds other instruments to our drums, to the beat. The music tends to become very hyped. Therefore, our Belizean brothers and sisters, and internationally now, goes by the rhythm of Punta Rock. Sometimes movements are made that is not right, like sexual movement,
Right.
sexual movement, because of the hypeness of the beat. And because it's so hype, everybody wants to learn how to do the Punta Rock dance in the clubs, parties. For us, Garifuna people, we want it mild as it is, as it's supposed to be. But as I said again before, because the culture is so vibrant, other people join in and they just do as they like or do as they please or follow the next person. So when there is activities like special Garifuna activities, that is where you will see the mild dancing of the Punta dance. And that's always amazing. Then we have what we call the chumba. The chumba demonstrates the lifestyle of the Garifuna people. So as I have said, mentioned, people are known as fishermen and farmers. So one young lady would dance as a farmer. Maybe she would go to the farm to get coconuts. She would climb on the coconut tree, get the coconuts, husk it, clean it up, grate it, do all that. That's one part. Another girl would do maybe a farming where she uproots all the cassava. She would uproot all the cassava, take it to the home, clean it up, grate it, make it into a cassava bread, and stuff like that. So it demonstrates one person would dance doing the fishing way of showing how to fish. And there and then you can see that that person is demonstrating the lifestyle of the group. So that's the chumba. And there is so many more because the dances that we do out here to party and have fun are completely different from the dances that we take to the temple.
Interesting. You say that.
Oh, I'm gonna cut you off. Running low on battery.
Okay, okay. Just a couple more questions. Do you ever feel, you mentioned that the Punta dance and because of the upbeat, do you ever think that, or does it come a time, sometimes it cross your mind that, you know what, because like you said, that sometimes the beat makes them dance in a sensual sort of way. Do you ever think that these, maybe the youth are too, can be too extreme to the point that it puts it at risk for to be secularized?
But most of the time we wonder. We wonder of that situation. But I don't think it will ever happen that way because the Garifuna culture is very strong. It's very, it stick to, it stays there. It's traditional. So you will always find our people doing the traditional way of dance. So the people of the other ethnic group, they would get as close as possible to it, but for some reason they cannot get it 100%, and that's where the little changes happen in their way of dance. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, it sure did. Now, this interview is so interesting. I hope that you allow us to come back and do part two. We obviously give you make sure you have a link to tonight's wonderful, wonderful introduction to Garifuna, and but I wanna cover more at a later date, and we'll talk about that more of how I would like to see part two because it's just so interesting. I just don't feel like I was able to get it all out there. We have a nice sized audience in America, and I really wanted to do you justice. So one part just simply won't do. And I don't mean to be greedy, but I would love if you honor us with a part two at some point when it's comfortable for you. But I will ask, do you have like an Instagram or any type of social media for your restaurant for people to come and really sit down and soak in this ambiance and taste the delicious food, the warmth that they're met with at the door, the professional aura that you have to yourself and that your staff have to yourself? How can they get a hold of you, Miss Julia?
It's very easy to get a hold of me. Now that we're on internet social media, we're on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are I'm well known. As soon as you clock in on Google Map, you'll find Black and White Caribbean Restaurant. So it's not difficult anymore. Like as I said earlier, it was pretty difficult at the beginning. Today, it's no longer difficult. I can clearly remember back in the days when people would email and say they are coming to us, and I would be in that kitchen cooking up a whole bunch of food just to find out that they won't arrive. Why? Because back in those days, some of the hoteliers or front desk people would say, "Oh, we don't know that place. That place doesn't exist because of who I am on the island." And that is now far gone. So it's easy to find us. Any taxi driver can take you here. Google Map can take you here. You just need to say Black and White Girlfriend Restaurant. They know where we are. We are well established. We are well on top of things now. I want to praise the good Lord for always being there for me and giving me the strength to move on daily. It's a daily task for me. And as I said, I'm the manager, I'm the owner, I'm the doer. Many times I still need to go into that kitchen, and I'll be strong with you, bro. If I'm not satisfied with what I see in the kitchen, I let them know I am not happy with what you're serving because that's not the way I want it to go. That's not the way I showed you. I want it my way. I want something out there decent. I want something there out there that is tasty, something that the guests will enjoy. I mean, people come from all over the world to spend your money, and we don't want people to come here for crap. We want people here to come for what it is. The Black and White Girlfriend Restaurant, traditional, authentic, taste, flavor, essence, and everything that goes with Caribbean and Belizean cuisine.
Wonderful. With that, Miss Julia, thank you so much for the privilege of your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, bro. I really do appreciate it. This is very nice. Thank you.